We'll call the meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. First order of business is to approve last night's meeting minutes. So if we want to take a second to review these, please. February. Oh, you know what? I'm already seeing it's yeah, it was February
Yeah.
9th, right? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting my February 9th. We approved the 29th meeting minutes, reviewed school department requests, discussed the tiers. Catherine reviewed the library request. Joe Conway performed the initial review of the Capitol. We discussed a reminder to department heads about requests needing to be submitted, and to be sure to let us know if they've procured any requests in some other way. That message went out today to all department heads. Um, Bill asked for all the backup and information to be sent. That was all sent this morning, and then we adjourned the meeting at 8:21. So, any we have a motion to approve.
I will move to approve these.
I'll
There's
second.
Oh, there we go.
who second? Who did it?
Kalori.
Dan got it. Okay. Roll call. Shane, all in favor?
Yes. Yep, in favor.
Yes.
Garrett,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Frank. Frank, you're on mute.
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. Sam is on. Okay. Okay. So we have tonight we have Wakefield Police and Wakefield Fire. Who wants to go first? Should we do rock, paper, scissors? Who
Bill,
do we
sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. The chief and deputy chief over at the fire department are having a little technical snafu, so they're coming to see me. So maybe we start with Chief Scory.
Oh, they were just on. Okay. Something happened. Okay. Well, there we go. Look at that, Chief Scory.
It's all right. I was going to volunteer to go first anyways.
Yes, I was waiting. Yeah, good, good. It's good just to step up sometimes, right? Hi, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Greetings, everyone. Thanks
Hi.
for having us. So my requests are pretty simple this year. Every year I typically request 3 police cruisers. We're in a position right now, and that request usually been granted for the last 7 years since I've been chief. So our fleet's in pretty good condition right now. So I think in this year we're in a position that we only need to ask for 2 cars, but we are asking for firearms replacement. Our duty weapons coming up on 12 years old. Typical lifespan is 10 years. So they're starting to show their age. So in my request, I put in for 55 duty weapons, along with 10 smaller weapons for officers that work plainclothes assignments. So in total, breakdown, I'm asking for $165,000 for 2 police cars and $60,000 to replace our handguns. And I can take any questions on either one.
I have the documents you sent over to Joe. I can pull up on the screen. It's distributed those to everyone in the committee. Does anyone have any questions? You want me to pull up anything from the police department request?
Phil, do you recall how many we approved last year?
It's been 3.
It was 3
3.
cruisers last year.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, and one of them ended up being an electric.
I do have, yes, Chief Scory. Among the firearms, you lay out the generations of firearms. You currently hold Generation 4 Glock guns, and you're suggesting that you go to Generation 5, and yet there's a Generation 6 that's being produced. Is there a reason to prefer the 5 to the 6? So we talking about technological differences, or?
So the lead time right now in Generation 5 handguns is 6 to 9 months due to demand.
Well,
Police departments were splitting between Glock and Sig Sauer. Sig Sauer has had some issues with their handguns, so most departments are going to Glock now, which has created a bigger lead time. And Glock says they're producing in the design stage of Generation 6, but there's no time frame for when those Generation 6 handguns will actually come out.
Okay, and Generation 5 is out already.
Generation 5 is available now.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody asked a question about cruisers last year.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, so we ordered 3 cars last year that came in a few months ago. They have been at the upfitter waiting to get upfitted. One of those cars was a K9 car. That car is nearly finished, should be done by the end of this week. And then the other 2 are scheduled.
Okay.
And the electric car was 2 years ago.
2 years. Okay. And how's that been working out for the police department?
So it took a while to get it. It took a while to get it upfitted. It went online last April. It was good for a month or 2, and then there were some hiccups. We had one alarm that kept coming on in the car. It was a high voltage alarm. So the car went back and forth to the dealership for 2 or 3 months until they could figure out what the issue was. They figured it out, and the car's been solid ever since. It's been getting used every day for the last 4 months or so, and no issues since then, knock on wood.
There any consideration of adding a second one with one of these vehicles, or are these both gas? You're looking to both gas-powered Fords, I believe.
I'd have to look at cost. I'm not opposed to the idea of getting another electric vehicle. The winter was going to be a big test with the electric car because some of the knock that I've heard on electric vehicles is battery life in the cold weather. But it seems to be holding up pretty well. One of our officers had it for a 16-hour shift last week in the 10-degree weather, and started out at 100%, and by the time he was done, it was down around 40%.
Mm-hmm.
Talking to some other chiefs, that's pretty good. They've used Teslas and Ford Mustangs, and they tell me that pulling out of the garage, the battery automatically drops 100 to 50% in the cold weather. So this is it's a Chevy Blazer. It's the only electric vehicle made specifically for police departments. So they seem to have done a good job planning ahead for the battery life. Like I said, the only hiccup was that high voltage alarm, and they seem
Yep.
to figure that out.
Okay. Yeah, the Ford Mustangs get a bad rap. They lose about 25% of their battery. So they're working on it. Well, it's good to hear. So, okay. Any other questions for the chief?
Yeah, Phil, I had a question.
Go for it, Bill.
Hi, Chief. We'll see you tomorrow night. For the firearms, is that something, I know, you obviously look for grants, usually have good stories to tell about grants, or is this not the type of item that's eligible for grants?
No, there's no grants for weapons. There's a lot of equipment grants out there, but it's usually technology type stuff. Cameras, body worn cameras, equipment for community policing, but no weapons.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, Frank.
I mean, obviously these weapons are occasionally fired in target practice. Is that, how often does that happen? Just to check them out and see that they're working? Just to, if it's 12 years is the right cycle?
So we go to the range, we fire 3 times a year. We go out to Fort Devens twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And then we also have the Middlesex Sheriff's Department has a 18-wheeler trailer that they bring in that we can fire live rounds in. It's a simulated device. So typically every year these guns fire hundreds and hundreds of rounds. We do a lot of practice. So at the end of a 10-year life cycle, there's been thousands of rounds through these handguns.
Okay. So they don't, obviously they're not dormant. I mean,
No. So when we go to the range, we fire a couple hundred rounds each time we go. Then the guns are cleaned. They have to be cleaned after the range. So no, they're cleaned, they're fired, and it's a repetitive cycle.
okay.
Phil, I have one other question. Chief, is there any resale value of the firearms you'll be replacing?
Yeah, so we will be trading in the handguns we have. It's like trading in a car. You can't really get a vibe for what they're going to give you for a trade-in. You'd like to think you'd get decent money for them, but it's hard to tell.
So is the 60,000 a full value, not including any possibility of reclaim value or?
No, we did factor in the trade-in value. So Sergeant DJ Morales, he's one of our firearms instructors. He was tasked with doing the research on firearms, and he really did a fantastic job. And he did come up with an average from 4 different vendors on what the trade-in value would be, and he factored that into the final number.
Yeah, Chief. So this was in, yeah, so here we go.
So the number that he came up with is lower than what I came up with because
Mhm.
he had only estimated for 50 duty weapons, and I increased that to 55.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe if you scroll down, Phil, there's a
Oh.
chart, and there is on the top right corner that says average trade-in value. So those are the 4 vendors that he got prices from, and he averaged out what the trade-in value would be, and that was factored in.
Good.
Right.
Okay, so this is showing 55, 852, and is the request for 60?
Correct. I increased it by 5.
Oh, okay,
We need to have extras in case there's a malfunction or
okay,
we have to take one out of service for any particular reason.
thank you.
Any other questions?
I'm all set.
Chief, I have one question that's somewhat unrelated to these two asks, but we met with the library last night and they mentioned a new camera system and some difficulties, especially working with the police in certain situations. So I was just curious if the police department had kind of any input on that or any color to add.
Are you talking about the cameras themselves?
Yeah, well, she mentioned that there were a couple occasions where, you know, if the police needed to get certain footage, whether it was out on Main Street or inside the library, that the camera system is really behind the curve, so to speak, and it turns into like a whole thing. So, just trying to get a sense of like if it's an outlier with the town or
It's
kind of
really an
what your
IT
take is.
issue. I can talk to Todd Bowden about that. Todd and his department, they handle all the camera installations.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anything else from anyone? No. Okay,
Nope.
Chief. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for your time. Have a good
Okay,
night.
have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Joe, I see we're on a different camera. I see Chief Purcell. And is there anyone else from the fire department I should put down for attendance?
Yes, Deputy Chief John Walsh is just out of the frame.
Deputy Walsh. Okay, thank you. Hi, Chief.
Hi, how you doing?
Good evening.
Evening. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. I have so I have the packet. It's like 35 pages of the different tiers and requests. Do you want me to pull that up on the screen or is that distract? Do you want to go over it? What do you prefer? And we can do whatever you want to do for this.
I have it right in front of me. Deputy Walsh put a lot of this together, so we put a lot of time into it.
Okay, well,
Down the priorities if you like, whatever works for you. So,
I'll pull it up while you're talking so we can have something to be. I did send it out to everyone. Everyone has seen it or everyone has receipt. I'm going to hope that everyone has looked at it. But hold on one second. Let me just find it. Here it is. Okay, all yours.
I'm gonna have to go back and forth between glasses here. I'm just gonna look at mine. So option 1, basically it's a command fleet, which is starting to get aged. Honestly, starting with the car 6 pickup utility, which is 15 years old, low mileage, but that's not indicative of the feeding that this thing is taking. Car 2, Chief's car, 11 years old, pushing 70,000 miles. And then car 1 is a hand-me-down from Cataldo ambulance, which was painted 8 years old, pushing 50,000 miles. Um, we've got different options, Chevy and Ford. The prices are about the same, but with the pickup, utility pickup truck, we're not looking for a 2,500. We don't need it. Anything it's going to pull or what it's going to be used for is aluminum. It's a waste of gas, and they're too much money. So we have pricing in there for the 1,500. Which saves about quite a bit of money.
So not the K 2500.
Yeah, those don't even look at those pages. Honestly, it's just we were just doing our research, doing our due diligence, trying to get. We were told, if they weren't green, the town may not want anything less than a 25. It's a waste.
So okay, so you're looking at the F-150 then for vehicle 6?
Correct.
Okay. So you're looking for 3. So sorry. So 1 chief of department, replace that with the new Ford Explorer, deputy chief car 2, and car 6. And those are your designations, 1, 2, 6, I would guess.
Yeah, and then we have equipment in the back pages, way towards the end.
Okay. Sorry, making people dizzy. These are cars that are they're very sticky that they can be vertical like that. Look at this one upside down. Hold on. This one, right?
Yep, you got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so these are basically smoke ejectors, but they're electric. Everything's battery operated these days. These go on every piece of apparatus. We use them for a lot of different things: positive pressure ventilation, negative ventilation to eject smoke, push smoke through the building, gases out of the building. They're expensive, very expensive. About 7 or 8 years old. They're constantly failing. The batteries are gone. So we're asking for 2 at an estimated cost of 7,817.70. Next item up, we currently deploy an Avon rubberized boat, almost like a Zodiac boat, into Crystal whenever we need it, for the smaller ponds in town, the areas we can't quite get to. That's pushing 35 years old, and new technology has come out where we have the ability to inflate. We can carry it in a bag, and we can inflate this on site with an SCBA cylinder. We can put these on engine 1 and engine 2, so they're very mobile. We don't have to tow them. We don't have to waste gas. We don't have to trailer. A fantastic tool. They came down and demoed these boats for us. I'm not going to show you a video, but it's a great tool. I'd like to get 2 of these. Estimated cost 7,619.94. This would replace an Avon boat that would probably cost us about 16,000 to replace. And then that's it. It's the end of its life, the rubberized boat, which has to be trailered.
Chief, you said rubberized. Is that an inflatable or is it another?
It's an inflatable boat, but it stays inflated all the time.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, we throw it in the back of car 6 now, which again we're asking to be replaced. It's cumbersome. Takes a while to get it going. This is a much better option. Next item is just the individual flashlights. Every firefighter wears a light. They have a spotlight on their bucket. These are all over less years old. I think the only new ones that we've gotten have come with the engines. When they have 4 on each engine, but these things are ancient, beat up. We're not asking every individual locker, which is what I would like. Everybody has a personal radio and a flashlight, but we're asking for 15 here, and the bank charges. Total cost of $3,077.64. These are constantly being sent out to be repaired. I mean, they're It's just old technology. Last item's our portable radios. About 7 or 8 years ago, we got a grant to replace about 60 of the radios. We have 5 new hires, 2 of which got sworn in today, and we need to replace at least 6 of these through wear and tear, batteries, and just damaged, lost, broken. Radios are about 2,200 a piece, but to hook them up and get them programmed, everything else, we're looking at about 20,663.88. The fire equipment grant just came out, and thought we might be able to squeeze these in there, but that wasn't the case. So we're asking for them here. That's it I have on my list. Total of 220, 249, 58. The vehicles are approximately, I believe, 181,070 if you go with the cheaper option.
For the car 6.
Yeah, for car 6 and the 2 command vehicles were about 181 and change. Equipment's 39K.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Chief, we're accustomed to when we see you at the, in the past, we see the chief at the finance committee that you often talk about different grants you've been able to secure for different items. And when I looked at these and the low dollar value, those strike me as things that I feel like in the past years we've heard grants have been available. So I'm wondering, if you could give us any feedback about those kinds of possibilities, and have you explored those routes?
Yeah, one of the grants just came out. They give you like 22 days to do it. So it's due February 19th. And right now, primarily, we're putting in for bumper gear because NFPA regulations force us to replace it every 10 years. So that's going to eat the bulk of it up. Bumper gear now is coming out fast. Thing in the industry right now where it's cancer causing, and it took them years to develop cancer-free gear. And we don't know what we're going to get. So that's what we're trying to go after with the grant right now. But you would be correct, Bill. Those are items I would normally go after in a grant. Absolutely. They fit right into that. But we're capped at 19 grand too. So, we probably get some of it, but I don't think this time.
Okay. One other question. Occasionally we see, where, somebody in town, businesses and stuff, will grant you money to buy stuff. Does that happen unsolicited, or how do people become aware of those needs? That makes sense what I'm asking you?
You must be watching the meetings, Bill. Yeah, that's a point of contention. They're unsolicited.
Well, it was contention with only one person, I think, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's unsolicited. It's usually offered in good faith. Anytime during the projects, they ask a lot, and we oblige. We don't specifically state what we need. Difference between impact fees and PFs. So we have to be very careful.
Yeah.
And so for the town administrator, in length, ad nauseum about how to go about these things, because as we know, the infrastructure in town, these builders come in and they just, don't really ask much of them. But they are willing to donate, but we walk a fine line there. But we have received recently 2,500, I believe another 3,000 recently, which will help out in certain areas. Again, it's been earmarked, in this case for a hose that was destroyed up in the woods, breakout. We have to replace an awful lot of hose every year, and it's extremely expensive. So we have a lot of antiquated equipment. A why I'm focusing on the fleet here. The fleet was neglected. And a lot of things just weren't asked for. The email I received today from Phil, asked for what you need. That's what Director Conway said, ask for what you need. That never really happened in the past. We asked for very little. So we want to try to get back up to speed here.
What would you, is the fleet well maintained? You know, when you, for the vehicles you've asked for, so I mean, my personal reaction is a lot of those have very low miles on them. Has the fleet been well maintained?
It is maintained as best they can do. DPW does a great job. This is based on what Fleet Maintenance Supervisor Andrew Shankhauer, he reviewed all the vehicles, took them in, gave him PMs, and we asked him what he thought. And, you know, again, the vehicles aren't indicative of the mileage. DPW does a great job with everything. It's just outdated. They don't have the latest technology. Like I said, my car's a repaint. It's an ambulance. It was a chase car for Catalco. It was great they donated it. But, you know, I've been out of town, I don't know, 40, 45 times in the last 5.5 years when I was the deputy. You know, we're at the high school, we're at the Vogue, we're at all these construction sites constantly. I mean, they average about 6,000 or 7,000 miles a year, which isn't a lot, but they're hard miles. We're all over the place. And I remember last year in the meeting, question came up, do they need to be all-wheel drive? The answer was no. I almost walked out of the meeting. Like, everything has to be all-wheel drive all the time. We're constantly utilizing these things. But we do plan, you know, depending upon, you know, what we're awarded, if we want to take, you know, at least one of these vehicles and use it as a fleet replacement. When our cars go down, the DPW has them, it could take a week or more. I mean, they have to, you know, fix police cars, their own stuff. So in the past, it was jumping your own car. I mean, those days are over. So this would be nice. We can have a backup vehicle as well. And they go down quite a bit. Tires, you know, everything else. So it's the stuff we've been looking at.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Yep.
If you had to prioritize the 3 vehicles, Chief, I know you marked them, everything is tier 1, and then there's a tier 1A. What does the 1A mean for 6?
Yeah,
Is that tier 2? Yeah, you just don't want to write 2, or what is the tier 1A?
I think it might have been the difference between the 1,500 and 2,500, but honestly, one command car and a pickup truck are the priority. You can always make anything work. I completely understand that. Everybody gets a small piece of the pie. You know, the equipment, we need some of that equipment almost now, but the fleet is what we need. We need to keep up with that fleet. And it has not been kept up with. You know, 15 years, 11 years, even 8 years, they're pushing. The low mileage, if I showed you the vehicles, you would understand.
Yeah. And they're New England vehicles too. It's not Florida 11-year-old vehicles. So the FlowJet fans, do you have something similar now that these are replaced, or is this like a piece of equipment you've always wanted, or how often?
We have 4 now, Phil. 2 of them are down. They're inoperable. So, you know, the frontline pieces, engine 1, engine 2 have one. We need one on the ladder truck and the first line backup piece. They're constantly out of service, and just to replace the batteries like 2,800. You know, so yeah, we're gonna.
And these are for when you're fighting fire. You set these up, or in what situations again would you use these?
We can, if we want to, you know, positive pressure ventilation. We can push the fire in certain directions. We tend to use them more for ventilation constantly. I mean, we're constantly going to smoke issues, not always house fires, ventilating, cooking, burn food, electrical issues, odors and gas. You know, we have to push the smoke and odors and gases out of the house. Yeah, we use them all the time.
Got it.
The heavy piece of equipment.
Okay. my questions. Any questions from anyone else?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
A couple of years ago, we approved firefighter equipment, jackets, I believe that were PFAS free. From your estimation, how much of the equipment that you have is going to be compliant with, the PFAS free requirements? I mean, do you still have equipment that is affected by this chemical, these chemicals that don't break down?
Yeah, so we have 55 firefighters. That includes 2 chief officers and all, 5 captains, 12 lieutenants, 36 firefighters. They all have 2 sets of bumper gear. Every one of those is they have the PFAS hasn't even really come out. The coach you're talking about, our medical coach, what we did is all the departments in the area are going to, when you're on a medical aid, you put on the yellow coat. It's almost like a ski coat. It's PFAS free, but it's not a structural firefighting coat. It's just for medical. It's a standard operating guideline states you can only wear that on a medical call, period. You can't go out of the building with it for a call for a car accident, extrication, fire, or anything else. So those were great. Guys use them a lot, but the bunker gear, this PFAS stuff is just coming out. I think we're, Deputy, correct me if I'm wrong. When is it being demoed? Like in 2 weeks? The first set we've seen, and we have to get feedback at the chiefs meeting whether it even works yet. And then we're going to have to go to the table, and I mean, this stuff is $7,500 a set. But Mr. Conti, to your question, the stuff that you funded, it's a whole different set of gear that we only wear for medical aid.
We don't, in your submission in that first set, you had provided the list of your the trucks, the big equipment, the engine, the 5 engines, the ladder. We know one was a warrant article last year. We don't see one this year. I know the lead times, we talked about this last year with Chief Sullivan about the lead times on these trucks can be really extended. So do you envision do you have a plan going out like the next 5, 10 years? Because or 5 years, let's say, of how many pumpers or whatever trucks, I don't know what you call them in the world of fire departments, but when do you envision the next one's coming up?
Well, it's about 1,300 days, close to 4 years for delivery. We do have a schedule. We created one. The ladder truck is up next. That's a 2013. We should have a pump and a ladder truck before 2030. I just don't know if that's realistic. So if I had to choose, we'll need a ladder truck. But we can't wait for 4 years to order it because then you're 8 years out. So we could provide you with a schedule that we have done. It takes a while to get these requests for proposal up and running and the specs. It's hours and hours of work. We just finished the new C grade. Just got signed off on finally last week. And again, they can't start building it until the paperwork was submitted, which it was. Tom Mullen got it done. And yeah, 4 years away. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is. It is.
It's pretty crazy.
But we can provide you, Phil, with the schedule. I'm looking at it right now. I have the years, the mileage, everything that you would need. And again, the days are gone. Unfortunately, no one wants to hear this of the apparatus lasting 30, 25 years. It's just not the case. It's all electronics. Frontline pieces now, NFPA says 10 years, 15 is second line, but we're beyond that already, but at least.
So yeah, so half the life that the engines used to get basically is what you're seeing.
Yeah, imagine that, and you pay double, which we used to pay.
And you pay double, and it lasts. Sounds about right for just about everything nowadays, doesn't it?
Stainless steel undercarriage chassis, we request them. Everybody says, you gotta get the stainless steel. It doesn't rot out. Mechanic was under the ladder truck the other day. He says, your chassis is gone. Bad news. I said, seriously? Why'd we spend all that money? What's it gonna cost us to anchor a chassis? He's like, oh, you don't wanna know. So, yeah. But a ladder truck is about 2.25 million now, or
Yeah.
2.5, which is just, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think the schedule will be helpful. I think, I don't know if FinCom has seen it, I don't know what level but yeah, I think as long as you have it and you at least have the plan, I think that's that's what's important. So that's why I was asking. So I know there's nothing on this year's request. So okay, I don't have any other questions. Did anyone else have any other questions?
I'm all set.
Good. Okay.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Chief.
Thanks,
Thank
Chief.
you, Chief.
Thank you.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So that's all we have for tonight for departments. Um, Joe, are you're in the room. I don't see you, but I'm sure you're somewhere over there. There's Joe. Um, do we have any more? When does DPW want to go? Do you want to do any tonight? Do you want to do fleet tonight? Are you not prepared? We could, we're meeting again in a couple weeks. We could give you a night, or if you want to go over any of your requests, it's, a little after 7. I'd say we have some time. What do you want to do? Is that okay?
It's totally your call. So I don't have any of my background stuff um, loaded for you. I can speak to some of it. We can cover the fleet stuff if you want. And then for your meeting the 23rd, I think I have double duty that night. I think I have to be as a council. So I was going to ask if I could present the rest of my stuff or the total package on my stuff on the 24th.
Yeah.
I think at that point in time, probably joining me will be Karen Burke. And then Captain Hudson has indicated that he will be in to see you folks on the 23rd, that Monday.
Okay. And who else on the 23rd besides Captain Hudson?
I believe right now just Captain Hudson at this point.
Just happened. Okay. And we don't know if IT is going to come in with anything. Okay.
I'll see Todd tomorrow. If he does, I'll make sure I shoot you an email that you have that ASAP.
Yeah. I did send him he received an email today too. So, okay. Why don't we pull up the list? We don't have any changes from last night because we didn't make any. So for the committee, you want to start talking about any of last night's requests while it's fresh? Do you want to talk about schools? And is there anything that people have been thinking about that we want to, we have to start talking about removing things from the list or things we 100% want to approve? Last year, we started to do sort of like a highlighting, where there were just some requests we knew we really wanted to approve. There were some sort of maybes, and then there were some pretty immediate no's, and that got us through a round or two. Maybe we should do that again if people agree, or we could just do it with what we've heard so far from the 4 departments, and at least start working away for a little bit. So, people
I mean, I
okay
know
that?
I could jump in with an easy one. I know the library for the 50,000. I'm fine with that. That's all she was asking. I'd actually be fine with that. So I wouldn't say take it off, but I'm fine with. I don't know if we want to do like green, yellow, red again, or whatever the group thinks. But
I like colors. I think
Yeah.
I'm a visual
as am
person.
I.
I
Yeah.
do feel like the library didn't ask for enough, and it looks
Yeah.
like after in years to come, it's going to be huge requests. So we might want to look at the other fiscal years that are coming up that we might want to look at now.
So Catherine responded that so I did send the email. She responded, this is to verify that the library's sole request as presented is the replacement of the security camera system. So they're not looking for anything else to that point, Tracy. So,
So I understand that she's not, but if we look at what she's asking, what the didn't, I mean, I gotta look at I had to go back to her.
I could pull it up. Yeah, the next column over was a 5 fiscal year column. It was a combination of five. Hold on, I'll pull it up. And so last year they had a chiller, a boiler, and 4 RTUs. They had a ton of HVAC equipment. We approved. We got through, I think, 2 of the RTUs. But I didn't see that. It's like a good now that I'm thinking
Why
of
didn't
it.
the chiller come back on?
Why didn't the chiller come back on? I know, it's a good question.
I can, I can add a little bit of information on that. I think she's recognizing that the chiller that is now essentially approaching replacement could probably go for either this year or next year, rather than making it critical this year.
Oh, wait a minute.
She has it in there as
Wait a minute. We did
done
fund.
last year.
Was this one of the ones? Hold on.
Phil, the chiller was done, that was approved last year. That is part of the package that we're
Oh
helping
yeah,
advertise right now. And
right.
then 2 out of the 4 RTU units were approved because those 2 existed on the roof that had already been replaced.
Right.
So Catherine had mentioned last night that they have another section of roof that they need to do.
Right.
They'd like to, organize their capital replacements to do the RTUs after the roof work is finished.
Yeah. So
I
we
thought we
would think,
discussed last year that taking care of units after the roof, they should be done at the same time so as
Mhm.
not to harm or what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, you're not going to impair the roof,
Yeah, there's going to be a warranty and you don't want to,
right?
have
Part
to
of
deal
what
with that.
part of what we would do with that, Tracy, it takes a little bit of extra time, but did the same thing on the Galvin with the solar. So when the roof is relatively new, it is under warranty. Before you do a project like this, most manufacturers, if not all, um, allow an inspection. So pre-construction inspection, the warranty can be paused for a period of time. And then when you do, whatever it is, the work that you're doing up there, you could do a post-construction follow-up, and then that will re-engage the warranty to that. So that's how we've been handling, these as they've been going on.
Okay. Yeah. And as most of you know, I think that with my father's roofing company, we never approved those. So for the buildings we've done, um, and I mean, they were pretty big buildings in Boston and Cambridge, but, um, and malls, but we never approved those. But that's why it makes me weary.
Yeah,
But if you say it can be done, it can be done.
yeah, we have like 3 things of carpet. There's the 2 old roof RTUs, the roof, and this is coming up in the next 5 years. We could ask Catherine to break, out we have more than enough requests for the money we have, but if we feel like there's room to add something in, what we could ask her to do is split this 28 to 32 up, right? Like zoom in on that and see what they would recommend. Because there's 80. I agree with Tracy that ideally you'd be doing that with the roof, especially if
Yeah,
there's new dunnage or structural. If there's something, you're usually picking the old one off to do the roof if it's old enough. But something to consider. We have flagpoles, mason, and then there's a whole bunch for just building envelope, pointing, walkway waterproofing that maybe, if we found we had money, maybe we could grant some money to do something. We would just need to hear from them what kind of scope, if there's anything small that needs to be done. So, so for the, so how do we feel about the camera? Are we okay to say people feel comfortable just calling that a yes?
Yeah, I would.
Yes.
I do, yeah.
Yes,
She
yes,
considers it a tier one.
Okay.
yes.
I was a little wary when the this police department rather didn't even know that it was a captain, a chief didn't know, Chief Scory didn't know that there was an issue, it seemed.
It may have been an issue where maybe they needed to check the tape and, maybe whoever officer was dealing with the matter, I don't know. Like
Mm.
maybe it wasn't a big enough issue for him to have been,
Perhaps
like,
she said it was that she couldn't always retrieve on request
right.
certain scenes from that were taken that the police department was interested in. Um, so I have no problem with this.
Yeah. Okay. And then, it's funny. I went through just because, not that I was bored, but I was just kind of see if you go through and you zero out every tier two request in this line, we're only about 200,000 from our goal. So,
Can
yeah,
I make a
Okay.
recommendation, Phil?
don't
Sorry.
do that. Is that what you're gonna say?
No, 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 no. So, we could talk about it more, but so that is kind of the way that all those RTU replacements came up. Those all came from DPW. Out of the three there, the big ones there, the Woodville School would be priority number one, and then the Doll Bear would be 2 and 2A. So not knowing, what everybody's aggregate lists look like, it's included. But if those two that you have highlighted were paused and came back next year, I think we are comfortable with that at this point.
Yeah, these are big, right. And so the Woodville's just done. Is that their only art? No, they must have more than one rooftop unit over there.
Yeah, there's a few up there.
What's the
The chiller's brand new on that building. We did either last year or the year before. So that'll get us in really good shape on that school. The Doll Bear got some RTU work done during COVID when some of that CARES money came out. It was very well received for HVAC and ventilation projects. They were able to actually score a unit for the building through Tom Walsh and through that process. So
Yep. Okay. Yeah, so explain again. So the estimate is 150, but the 225, is there a reason? I know we're looking at this column here. This is but when looking, is there a reason that these are one with these old estimates, or just wondering how it went from 150 to 225 on the
So
sheet?
they were older numbers, pre-tariff, pre-state of the world. The other thing that those did not include in the beginning was some of the labor related to the install. So that 225 number is a good placeholder to come all in. We've had two people out to actually look at those this week again to sharpen that number. So
Yeah.
hopefully by the time we go, further into that at length, I'll get you an even better number than that.
Okay. Okay.
Joe, at the very top of the building section, line 28,
Yep.
the placeholder, you explained this yesterday, and I'm not quite sure. Does that 100,000, is that including the unit that is really in her 28 to 30 fiscal year plan? Is that the RT
No.
unit?
So
What is-
all that is for us at this point, we're actively, bidding the project and helping them for what they need. I'm confident that the numbers are going to come in below what were appropriated, but that little bit of doubt and uncertainty out there, in some of these markets,
Uh-huh.
we didn't want to leave ourselves shortchanged and not be able to get everything done. I think I mentioned either last night or the first time we talked, that's a very, very conservative number that I'm optimistically expecting to hopefully not need. But by the time we talk, we'll have a decision of either what that number needs to be so we can finish off the library project and get everything that it was intended to be
Okay.
done, or just simply erase it and then, spread that money throughout.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
For schools, why don't we start the request for Well, here, actually, you know what? Let's just start here. Fire. Let's talk about fleet. So, fire department with 3 fleet requests, 2 patrol cars for the police, and then the school's looking for to add an activity bus, 14 passenger bus. Any thoughts about the fire department requests? He did say the command in one of the command cars and the pickup truck, if there were priorities out of it, would be these, either one of these, and then the utility, the truck, this one, 2011. I don't know what word that is. I'm noticing that
Utility.
utility. It's
Utility.
not utility. It's not utility at all. It's
I couldn't leave this without a spelling error for you, Phil.
Come on, it's like
Gotta keep you on your
it's like a
game.
seek and find. I'm gonna get my crayons. Yeah.
These five would be a quarter of our budget, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
So like 27% after the
450.
polices.
Yeah,
Yeah,
almost
we have
500,000, yeah.
right. So yeah, it's about 27% of what we have to spend. Well, if he's saying one or the other for the command car, I would say replace the older one,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
not this one. So green light the 2015 for replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
And then for the truck,
Yep.
Yellow.
I feel
That's
like
what I was thinking, interestingly enough. Yeah.
you were saying yellow, Tracy, you said?
Yeah, we'll see what we have for
Yeah.
leftover
Right.
money.
I'm thinking the same, yeah.
What are the color codes again, please?
It's like a stoplight, Frank. Where green
Okay.
means go. Green means we're all agree. Let's approve it. Yellow is maybe we'd like to, but maybe for whatever reason we're not set to say yes. And red is just going to be maybe one of these requests that we just we just kind of agree right off the bat we're going to remove. That's
Okay, understood.
you know what I mean. Just to try to add some flair to our sheet here. What about the police? So they're asking for 2, which, in my tenure, this is the first since 2016 that 1 year we only approved 2, and then they got a third at town meeting when someone stood up and voted on an amendment, and they ended up getting 3 that year because of a town meeting amendment. So every year we hear the chief talk about the importance of rotating their fleet and the lead time it takes to get these vehicles. So, what do people think about this request?
What was the
I'd say
lead time
leave it-
again?
This
Yeah,
is
I'm
2 patrol cars for 165,000.
But what's the lead time? How long does it take again?
sounds like about a year before they get them.
Yeah, I think he said it was about a year between getting it, and then it's the outfitting. I think that takes the time.
Who pays for the outfitting? Does that come
They
out
do.
of
It's part of the cost. So when they buy it, they have a
built
quote.
in? Okay.
Yeah, that they buy it and then they don't ever receive delivery. It goes directly to the outfitter, and then once it's outfit, then it gets sent to the police department.
I mean, me again, I'm okay with green for both of them, just where they're not asking for 3. So,
Yeah, last year was 3, right?
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
3. Yeah, it's reasonable to give them both because next year we would have an argument for not giving them 3 again. If we gave them 1 this year, our argument is weaker next year.
Anyone opposed to this being green? That sound okay?
I think it's I think Dan's point is a good one, but still it takes up a big chunk of
Well, they need them though, when it comes down to it.
It's about 10
They put a
10%.
lot of miles on them. We can't do anything about the cost.
Right.
Okay, I suppose. I'm just trying to look at the bigger picture.
We could certainly just make it yellow for now. If it's not, I think it's a green, but if there's a question on it, we can always just come back to it and see how as we
I
move.
mean, it's public safety, so I would be comfortable making it green and,
Well, how about this? How much, I mean, last year they asked for, not that, actually, I was gonna say, last year they asked for almost 250 for 3 cars.
And we
Which was
gave it
about,
to them.
Right,
and we gave it to him.
234.
We gave him $80,000 a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when we look at this,
Yep. It's
yeah,
80,000 a
it's
car.
$80,000 a car, and they're only asking for 2, like this, like
Yeah.
Dan said. So
Yeah, and they provided the backup of the Stoneham Ford from the fleet manager as well as the retrofit company to back up those costs.
hmm
So,
But I thought last year he was going to take some money off too.
what, they ended up getting 2 patrol and 1 canine, and the canine wasn't a full
Oh, okay, yeah.
build out or what. It's a different build, and so that's where
Mhm.
they say they got the 3 with less money, but instead of 3 cruisers, they got 2 cruisers plus the canine vehicle, which I guess is not set up technically as a full cruiser.
Hmm.
but did we approve it specific? We didn't approve it that way, did we?
The note from last year does say 2 cruisers, 1 canine
Okay,
is what was in the final vote.
okay.
234, 200. So are we okay?
Make it
we make
green.
this green?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what do we think about the activity bus?
Maybe yellow for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yellow.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm with yellow too. Yeah.
It does seem very necessary, but it's just expensive. It's 100K, it's 6%. So I don't know.
I mean,
I agree with you, Garrett. Yeah.
I mean, the
And-
other two are ADA compliant. Can we refresh my memory as to what the
I don't know
discussion?
if they're ADA compliant. They're just they're 14 passenger buses. So I don't know. I don't think they kneel. I don't think they have wheelchair lifts. Like I don't know
No.
what makes a I don't know
Yeah.
what makes a I with that said, I don't know what makes a bus ADA compliant. So Frank, what do you mean?
I think, well, I believe I heard in the discussion last night that there was some, concern about these buses being up to grade and meeting compliant and so on. Maybe I misunderstood, but,
There was a survey for ADA compliance discussed last night. I'm not sure if that was what you're thinking of.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that was vehicle related, but I think that they are ADA compliant, at least one of them that we have.
yeah.
Okay, maybe they
Um,
have to be because it's a school vehicle. Maybe it's just one of those. I don't know. I could certainly ask and follow up at our next meet or send an email out. I could ask that.
Well, for $100,000, they're going to get an ADA compliant vehicle. That's how much they cost, right? So they're not going to sell one that's not anymore, right? Right? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never bought an activity bus.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I honestly have no idea.
Get in the market, Phil. No.
I'm gonna get into it. It sounds like there's only one supplier.
Phil's going to be buying Sprinter vans.
How do you do your activities?
Yeah.
Not on a bus, I guess.
Oh.
I'm missing out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil,
So the
Phil,
major,
if I could- I was gonna say, if I could offer
concern is the
something-
cost.
The cost, and I can just ask. I'll ask the clarification. We can just keep it yellow, and then next time we meet, I can have some information, or I'll share it in an email before. Okay.
Okay.
And
Phil,
as
if
a quick recap, I know they were saying they're not looking at replacing it, they're looking at adding it.
Right.
And
This
it's
is an
mostly
add.
because the other two have really stepped up, and again, mostly because the other bus services just aren't coming through. Phil is probably with me on this too. I have 2 kids in the high school, and they've definitely been on that activity bus a lot. It's kind of saved them when the buses haven't shown up.
Yeah.
Well, also, like they mentioned, because we don't have a field anymore,
Right.
we have to, all the games are away.
Right.
Uh,
Which is temporary, not to say that
exactly.
we won't need
Correct.
it,
Right.
you
Correct.
know, but
Phil, can I just offer one thing on the bus? And I enjoy listening to the committee and I respect everything you're saying. The only thing that occurs to me on that bus is that he said one of the buses is a 2014. So you got to figure that thing's going into life, and most of these vehicles take a year to get anyway. So I just want to throw that into the thinking about it.
I
Yep.
agree, Bill, but I also think that he said that they were older but very low mileage, I thought.
Yeah,
No?
but we just looked at a lot of fire department vehicles that are low mileage and asking for 6, 7, 8 replacements.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right. Which,
Yeah.
well, and they take years to some, well, maybe they do take longer to get. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
right.
So anyway, I
Yep.
just wanted to add that. I mean,
Right.
It's
Mhm.
true.
Yep.
No, it's a good point.
Yeah, it's similar to the police, just keeping the fleet rotating, not waiting for things to break down, because then we're down one, and that's not going to help anyone. So, especially with lead time. So, okay, we'll keep it yellow. I'll ask a couple clarifying questions and send it around to the group, and we can talk about it at our next meeting. So the next things of what we've heard about would be Galvin, Greenwood would be these right here. Um, what do you know about the water heater, Joe? Do you know much about this? Is the water heater down and this is a straight up replacement?
Yeah, this will be one from my group. So this is when I'll come back with more for you.
Okay,
That
so that'll
wasn't a
be.
task.
Oh,
was
that wasn't school. Okay, feasibility. So I did ask just to bring the co-committee. I did send an email to Tim, Christine, and I copied Doug Lyons with 3 points about the feasibility study. I asked um, is there an older feasibility study that exists for the Greenwood from years ago? My belief is that there was one done while ago. I've been in town since '09, so it could be even older than that. Just curious if one exists, what it said, could that help define scope for a new feasibility study? Did something come up then that we should just know about off the bat? I did ask why this wouldn't be more of a warrant article for town meeting. Most feasibility studies recently for school projects have been warrant articles, not capital requests.
Yep.
Just I don't know what the really the difference is. One way or the other, the town is paying for it, but just curious, why this wasn't brought up. So I asked that question. Was there a reason for it not coming up, in a warrant article, opposed to our list as a tier one. So, um, I was just wondering. So, wanted to bring that up. So what do people? So I'm very yellow to red on this for that reason. But at the same, I think it's a bigger project. It's a bigger discussion that's going to happen after feasibility studies down the line, sometime in the future, maybe. But I'm a little on the fence about whether this
I,
is
I'm,
a
I'm,
green.
I'm
I
for,
agree.
I'm for red.
yeah,
Yeah,
me
me
too.
too. I'm red. Yep.
It
Phil,
just seems very unknown
Phil,
Yep.
can I ask you a
what
question?
comes next.
Go for it.
Has the permanent building committee weighed in on that?
Well, no, because they haven't presented it to the permanent building
Okay,
committee.
thank you.
I will say I brought it up last night because I am on the permanent building committee as well. The charge of the committee is any projects that would exceed 100,000 would become a project under the PBC. It's usually after whatever gets approved, then it would get sent over to PBC. And at that point, the PBC is charged with, moving forward with it. Until then, the PBC really doesn't have much say or opinion on any project. It's more of like once something got approved, it would be sent to them. So this would be a project that would exceed $100,000 if you're going to renovate the Greenwood School. I would take an educated guess. So it improved in whatever manner, I would guess would end up in the PBC's lap.
Thank you. I appreciate the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the process that the salt shed went.
Salt shed, right. So it gets approved, town approves it in whatever way, either through this or through warrant, and then it gets identified for PBC. So I heard a lot of reds. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
I'm okay with that. Just because I feel they could present that as a town. I don't think it's a red, they could proceed in another way to get this approved for themselves.
Agreed.
So, auditorium fly system.
Warrant
Ugh.
article.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
asked for some we asked for some follow-up information. I'd really love to see that, what attempts they've made to try to correct the issues with this fly system. This is a huge ask. We want to make sure that the thing is actually broken. It's a shame because it's not that old and it's a huge, system here, in size and in money, of course. But I don't know how we could afford this, in all honesty.
well,
With everything else.
I favored making this a red for now.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of skeptical as to the revenue they say they could generate by having this fully operational system. I mean, it's going to be used by in-house by Wakefield students, and that's going to take up a good segment of the school year. I don't know what goes on in the summer with regard to the rentals. Maybe that's where they capitalize on their revenue. I'm not sure, but
It's mostly on the weekends, Frank, when for the dance studios and stuff when they do their big
Mhm.
recitals. So
uh-huh.
that's usually like Friday night, Saturday and Sunday.
But is it like 2 or 3 times a month?
For the dancers, no. It's probably it's only usually spring, but
So, how long would it take for the for the department to earn back $350,000?
70. So at he said it was like $4 to $5 grand a weekend on average. So at $5 grand, that's 70 rentals to pay this back. If that's what you're asking.
Yes, and the question is the durability of that fly system. Would it last through the amount of time it would take to pay it back?
right, there'd have to be updates between now and then, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
I would argue with I would say agree with
Yeah.
Frank that it should be red.
I agree as well.
Yeah. The high school is going to have a fly system too. And like, I'd almost rather
Yeah.
just approve that extra fire department vehicle and the activity bus for half the cost.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I don't, I'm excuse the pun, speaking out of school here, but will the new high school, be offering rentals?
Yeah, I believe
Yes,
so.
they
I think
will.
that's what they said.
Or he said that, yeah.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be more attractive to the current renters of the Galvin to go over to the new high school? In other words, I don't think there would be any new business that would sustain
Right.
Correct.
two
Right,
stages.
just make upgrades to what we have with the rigging and
Yeah.
yeah, rather than install a completely whole system.
But excuse me, was that an option that they discussed? It seemed to me that they wanted a whole new system and
I don't believe we asked.
My
We don't believe we asked what?
my ask last night had to do with, have they brought in the company that
Right.
owned, that bought out the company that sold this to us, right? Like, and I went on their website and they have, it's a nice website, like a lot of people, and there's a request form, request for training, request for maintenance. Now, I don't know personally if that's been done. What was the success rate? Did they never call you back? Did they come out and they were useless? Like, we've had them out 10 times and the thing just won't work. Like, that's the information I think would help with this request, not necessarily get me to any sort of green this year, but at least to know that there's just no hope and it's not just a lack of training, or there's like a remote missing, and the guy comes like, oh, well, do you have the remote? And someone says, well, what remote? And they're like, oh, well, that's why it doesn't work. Like just to be sure
Yeah.
before there's such a big request that the thing actually doesn't work. And it's not that I don't believe the people in the school that work on this. There's been a couple different people in Tim's position since the school's been built. Like just to make sure there just for this amount of money that there's just absolutely no way to make this thing work.
Well,
Because
I
it's a
agree.
tier two and the other thing is it is a tier two for them, but also, I mean, did they bring Todd in for a little consult? Talk about feasibility studies. Did they do it on the auditorium with someone like Todd, who may know it?
I
Someone
don't
on
know
the
if
inside
yeah.
versus someone on the outside. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what Todd's expert. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know if like IT and fly systems are the same. Like that, I don't. Yeah, right. We don't know if like. So I think that's we can they look into it and get back to us. So we could certainly. I'm hearing red.
Yep.
Yeah.
We can certainly
Yeah.
zero this out, and then when we get more information, or if something is really is mind blowing, it's just still a lot of money. It's a huge portion of our total here. So.
Well, it's very expensive for the rigging, and I think that he did mention rigging yesterday, and that's like for the lighting, and I guess the drapery, like the curtains and stuff. That's very
Yeah.
expensive, So, um, but can there be a fix option since we're going to have, by the way, 100 less seats at the new high school,
Yeah.
which is odd to me as well.
It's only like 20 something less seats,
Oh,
I
he said
believe.
100. He said 650 at the new high school and 750 at the Galvin.
I didn't think it was that much of a difference in all honesty.
Okay. I'm just
I
I'm just
it,
quoting him, that's all.
yeah,
But
I know he said that. I flagged when he said it. I thought it is smaller, but I think it's smaller by not that. I don't think it's smaller by that much. I don't think. Either way, I have the spec. If anyone is interested in the fly system in this particular, I do have the original specification from the Galvin project of the fly system. If anyone wants it, I can forward it to you for your review. It's not that exciting, but if you wanted to see it, I got my hands on it. So,
okay.
Walton School. So this was a tier 3 for replacement of an exterior door and door frame that's starting to rust. You know, I know it's tier 3, but it's an exterior door to one of our schools. But it's not a lot of money, and with this, so a door, Joe Conway, it's a door on a school, so it's 100% a school cost, not a town DPW, not like a building cost, correct?
In this case, yes. I mean, towards the end of the year, depending on how the year goes, could this be something that, between the overlap that we have, we would pick up maybe? A little too early to tell in this fiscal at this point, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I haven't seen a picture of it. I'm not familiar with it. I don't know if anyone has kids at Walton, but I mean, is it something we can paint that'll hold on a little longer? But on the other side of the coin, we shot down the other two, so I'm almost leaning like for 15,000 I could do it. So
Yeah, to me, I feel like 15 grand for a door is like not a lot of money for something that seems kind of important and it's
But on
gonna
the other
need
hand,
to be replaced anyways.
I mean, obviously we did work at the Walton and not that long ago. Why
right,
is
I
it
know he
rusty
said
now?
this door
The,
wasn't part of that
Oh, it
work
wasn't
though.
part of it? Okay.
Part
right.
of
Yeah.
the old, right, not the
Okay.
new.
For some reason, it was excluded.
I mean, let's give it a yellow, I'm guessing. We seem mixed, but it's up to the
Yeah.
group, whatever everybody else thinks.
Yep,
Fine.
yellow's fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine as the maybe. Um, okay, and then we didn't talk Landrigan yet. PD. So service pistols for the police department.
I'd say that's a green.
I concur.
Yeah, did
Anyone opposed to that?
Yeah, no, I'm green for me.
Yeah, okay. I agree. Fire department. So I'll just start off with this. This is like low hanging fruit, but I feel like this is just I feel like these three are too small for us.
Hmm.
In years past, we talked about this a little at the end last night. Like we have, set like, under 10. We sort of just didn't consider it. Small enough for the department's budget should
Yeah.
cover it.
Hmm. Agreed.
That would take care of all three of these things. In terms of even though they're all tier one, like especially like the flashlights, I feel is something they should be able to cover in their budget for
Yeah,
$3,100.
I agree,
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Agreed.
And Phil, if I could,
Yes, please.
so moving forward, we will be designating small capital versus large capital. Liz and I are used to having small capital, which these items would definitely fall under. So I completely agree with you that we will recategorize these next year.
Yeah, that would be great. We've been really trying to get departments to think of that every year, but they come through. I know why they're submitting them, so that would be great because they're important, but they should be tracked differently. So, um, what do we think? So, what do we think about either of these, the fan and the rafts?
And the station alarm chime tone at $8,000, or no?
We haven't heard, so that's Captain Hudson.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He'll come in on the 23rd and he'll present these two. But yeah, basically that would fall under the same.
You can't give one, to the other.
Yeah, yeah, it would fall under I think the same sort of litmus test of
Yeah.
cost.
And I think that's a good number, right? Under 10,000, it doesn't fall with us. I think that's just to be consistent.
Right.
Fair number. It is consistent. Joe Conway is going to make this water heater $10,001 at the next meeting. We're on to you, Joe. I see you. That's okay. Make it 10,002, so it's not so obvious.
Yeah.
First you catch my
2005.
spelling mistake, now you catch my math. Right. I'm on to you.
I'm on your team, Joe. I'm Team Conway. I'm here to help.
It's all about the W.
Yeah. Okay. So
Oh,
red.
Yeah.
And then what do we portable radios? I think radios, critical in their line of work. I don't know. I feel like this should be a green.
I'd say
Yeah.
green.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, he did say that they lose them. That's a concern of mine, but can we put devices on there so they don't get lost?
Air
At
tags.
$21,000?
Have them pay a deposit.
No, I was thinking more like a tag, but
Yeah.
tagging them.
I'm gonna guess some union would probably have an issue with that, but
No,
it's a good
tag.
idea.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Oh, tag the devices, right?
Tag the
right.
devices, not the people.
Not the people. Not tag. Put something in there. Yeah. Put something in your ear. Yeah. Okay. And then so if Todd, we don't know we don't know if IT, but so
Can I just interject on the fire alarm? He's going to come in next week or the next meeting.
Captain Hudson, the 23rd, correct, Joe?
Yes. Yep.
If I recall correctly, there was a fire alarm issue that either last year, year before, where they found funding from. It was such a critical issue that it was in the there was some emergency funding that they were able to secure. We won't know if that's the case this time, do we? Do you know, Joe, at all, is how critical that fire alarm receiver is?
I do not. I've not spoken to him directly yet. I can see if I could get the Reader's Digest though, so you have it before your next meeting.
Yeah, right. It was
Yeah, because there was detection, right? Detection.
It was the vehicle detection system. This is for FY25, Frank. Good memory. 2 years ago, they had two, and one system was actually down. And the discussion was, well, even if we approve it, you're not going to get the funds for it until the next fiscal year. And if it's broken now, isn't there funds? I think Joe or someone brought up that there was funds that they could be used to fix it right away since it was broken. And so they did do one,
Right.
and then we ended up approving one, the North Ave at Prospect. But they took one off because they needed it right away.
Right. So, okay, I just, a little bit of a heads up, see if that's going to be the case
Yeah.
going forward.
Okay. I'm not much of a tech guy. Who do we have? Do we have who's our tech go-to on the committee? Do we have any techies?
Sam. He's
Not me.
David Whitman used to be on, and that was his
Oh,
his
that's
deal.
right.
He's like trivia when you have like the president's person that knows all the presidents, right? Like he was our tech guy. So like I get what the readers are, like because I've worked for companies that have had, you have your little reader to get in places. So I understand this, and the network switch, I'm going to guess, is a very critical part of an IT infrastructure. But
Well, he did say last night that, when they're taking their tests, there's a tremendous amount of traffic that the current system can't handle.
yeah.
But that might not be, that might not be an occasion every day. I mean, so
Well,
Well,
Joe gave a pretty thorough explanation last night that I think that he was basically saying that this is almost a central piece of the system. Did I hear that right, Joe?
That's my understanding of it. So it is a piece of many. I think what these switches are points where, other branches of their Wi-Fi network and etc. Come off of.
Yeah.
Ethernet, right? Ethernet?
Yes.
Dee, you have your hand up?
Thank you, Phil. Has Todd weighed in on this?
We have not heard from Todd yet. No.
Okay, thank you.
We would like to. I think that's Mike, because it is under IT, even though it's a school request. It would be helpful to hear. And Joe, sorry if I asked this already earlier. Do we know if Todd Bowden's going to be able to make any of our meetings?
I talked to him yesterday about it.
We can make him available. Absolutely.
I think the 23rd probably makes the most sense.
23rd would be great.
Yeah.
That would give you the 24th, Joe, because, if possible, if you could double check that, that would be great to get Todd to explain that. Because I'm looking at everyone see the second tab I just pulled up. I assume it changed on your screen.
Yes.
So these, this is the lease schedule. So, we did approve a pretty large card reader system or camera system. So just make sure, like I have some questions to make sure that I'm assuming it's all compatible because it's the same manufacturer. But how that rolls into this card reader, and if this is like is this the whole district? Is this, is this half the stuff? So it would be great to have Todd come in.
Thank you, Phil. All great questions. We'll make sure he's available.
Yeah. But I think generally I hear what you're saying, what people are saying about this switch sounds like it's going to be critical. You want me to make both of these yellow until we talk to Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. We're showing them we have our minds open to these things. No decisions have been made. So, okay. So that's good. Look at now we're only down to 3.4. So it's
Knocked off $1.5 million.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, we only need to cut 1.8. I'll do that tonight. Here, let me roll some dice. Hold on. Let's see. PW doesn't need anything. Okay. No, that's good. I think that's all we've heard about. So there's no really reason to go through anything
There's
else.
a lot of T2s. There's a lot of tier 2s in there.
Yeah, like this morning, like just zeroing these out really gets us down. But I don't want to do that blindly. That was just a blind exercise. I was doing it more for curiosity than anything. So, so Joe, we'll hear from you on the 24th, and then we'll meet again on the 23rd with Captain Hudson and hopefully Todd Bowden if he's available. Okay, if not, the 24th if Todd can do one of those dates would be great. So, okay, any other questions on this, or can we move on to adjournment?
Phil, just to confirm, our next meeting is the 23rd, right?
Correct.
We have no meetings next week. Okay, thank you.
No, next week is school vacation.
Oh,
Um,
right.
I will not be around. I will not be monitoring my Wakefield email or
Then
basically any email, hopefully. But if so we'll meet on the 23rd. Joe, I'll send this highlighted sheet out to everyone so you all have it in the meantime. And then Joe, if you hear of any new information or whatever, if you could just send it out to the whole group, that would be great.
Yep, I'm not expecting anything other than the one HVAC line we talked about, so
Okay.
cross your fingers.
A question about housekeeping. How do we get access to the transcripts that are generated from these meetings?
You believe you can email Sherry for
Sherry.
it. I asked this last year. I'll find we asked this last year. I'll find the answer. I'm pretty sure you can contact Sherry Dalton at Town Hall for the transcript.
Okay.
I think they're also on YouTube
They
as
might
well,
be on
Frank.
you. Yeah. There's a couple different. Let me search the email, and I'm pretty sure we have the answer to that. I'll send it out,
I'd
Frank.
be interested in the transcript, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a motion to adjourn at 7:59.
I will do
I
that.
move
I
to
will
adjourn.
do a motion to adjourn at 7:59 PM.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. All in favor, press leave meeting
All
and
right.
Right.
have a good night.
Thanks. Have a good
Good
one.
night.